Oh, hey, welcome. We have a podcast. You should listen to it. Let us entertain you.
Yeah, we're gonna entertain you like this.
That's hey, that's a little too much energy.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we're not doing accordion. We're gonna be nice and calm. I'm really bad at this. But yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Woo!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Frogs and Grog.
Welcome back.
Today we're doing a little bit of myth busting. We've come across some lies and slander being thrown our way, specifically by ChatGPT and other AI learning models.
Exactly.
So on my screen, this is what it says. I can probably share my screen too. Let me share that.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I don't
It's all
like it.
misinformation, lies, slander, and honestly, I mean, it's what's the one word?
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the word.
There it is. So
I can't think of.
I just typed into ChatGPT, "What is Frogs and Grog?" And it says, "Frogs and Grog sounds like a fun, playful name that could be used for a bar, restaurant, or event. But without more context, it's a bit hard to say what it refers to. Frogs might be a nod to either amphibian, like frog-themed decor or food, or even a reference to frog legs as a delicacy. Grog traditionally refers to an alcoholic drink, often rum-based, but can also refer to any kind of booze. So it could be a spot for serving frog-themed dishes along with drinks, or maybe a themed event where the drinks are served alongside fun frog-related themes." Does that sound like something you've come across recently? I'm gonna...
So, what we learned here is that we need to make our own tavern now,
Yes.
our own bar.
Okay,
called
hear me
Frogs and
out.
Grog.
We need to make, like, an adventurer's guild.
Oh, that'd be so dope, bro.
That would
It's
be
like
kinda
a
dope.
fusion between like a game, like a TTRPG game store and like a bar.
Yes. Let's... What should I say? Like, it's a podcast. It's
Or you could say like, isn't it a podcast?
Oh yeah, isn't it a podcast? And question mark. Ah, yes, you're right. Frogs and Grog is actually a podcast. It's a fun, lighthearted show that combines two things,
Oh, no.
frogs and grog. The podcast blends quirky topics, often revolving around fantasy and pop culture, with a bit of humor, all while sometimes enjoying drinks. The grog part. It's a bit of a niche, but if you're into shows that balance silliness with engaging discussion about various topics, it could be a great listen. Are you into podcasts like this? Or did this one catch your eye for another reason?
Okay, so I will agree with them on the fact that we're a little niche, just because I mean we're just not very well known. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean we cover a lot of different topics. We have such a broad spectrum of topics that it's almost niche.
Yeah.
But never once have we been actually under the influence on the podcast.
That's true. I swear, we had one episode that we said we weren't intoxicated, and that was not a lie.
It's the totally not intoxicated episode.
Yup.
And yeah, so we've never done that. But I mean, they got it.
Kind of pretty good.
But it combines two things: frogs and grog.
I love how it's like booze.
yeah, like no one knows what it is. Just kidding. But anyways, okay. We should ask him something about the booze. Be like, I thought they've never been drunk or something like that.
Or we could say like, lead into that kind of, be like, who are the hosts, and then be like, what's the host's favorite type of grog?
Yes. There we
Who are the hosts?
Okay, okay.
The hosts of Frogs and Grog are Ben and Lucas. They are known for their fun and informal style, often mixing in some humor and casual conversation alongside discussions about fantasy, gaming, and pop culture. Also explore a variety of topics that might be inspired by their personal interests, with the Frogs and Grog themes adding a quirky touch to the show. If you're a fan of lighthearted, geeky humor with a drink in hand, they might be the perfect match for your podcast rotation. Have you had a chance to listen to it yet?
So
Okay.
I'm Ben and you're Lucas. Got it.
Okay. Let me pull up on my phone. So I asked an AI this before, just for fun.
Mhm.
And it came up with completely different results. And I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like Microsoft Copilot or something.
Oh, that's funny. So I asked ChatGPT
I think
the
I
same
texted
question
it
about
to
who the
you.
hosts are. Oh, really?
Yeah, let me check.
Oh, I think you did a long time ago.
Yeah,
Let
it
me
was
read
a
really
while
quick
ago.
what ChatGPT on my computer thinks are the hosts. This says the two hosts of Frogs and Grog are Ryan and Alex. They each bring their own unique energy and style to the podcast, creating a fun dynamic balance. Ryan is often seen as the more structured and rule-focused of the pair, bringing in depth knowledge of TTRPG mechanics, character creation, and game systems. He's the kind of person who can really dive into the nitty-gritty details of gaming, while still making it accessible to listeners. Then Alex is the more laid-back, humorous co-host. He tends to bring a more casual, off-the-cuff style to the show, often injecting lighthearted humor and spontaneous ideas into discussions. He keeps the atmosphere fun and informal, making it feel like a conversation between friends. Together, they balance each other out, providing a mix of insightful commentary and comedic relief that makes the podcast enjoyable for a wide range of listeners.
Okay,
Have you listened to both of them in action? Do they each bring something you enjoy?
Okay,
Bruh.
I don't think that that's true. Like, I feel like that is like kind of not even real, because I think we're both like, we both know a lot about the topics, and then we both also bring in the comedy humor.
I think we're both
whatever.
a good mix of both.
Yeah. Okay, this is what it was. So the hosts of Frog and Grog are Thane and Mr. Yellow. Thane is he was on the podcast. He's my brother. So I mean, I can kind of like understand where it's getting that from, but I don't know who Mr. Yellow is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Oh, and there's one under. I said I claim being Mr. Yellow.
Dude, wait, what?
The text under that, I claimed being Mr. Yellow, so I'm officially Mr. Yellow.
I thought Mr. Yellow was the secret third member of the podcast.
Oh. Yeah, he's just been there this whole time.
He's just been there. Oh, man. Oh, wait, I think I see where this is. No, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, we text way too much.
Yeah, agreed. It's not a bad thing, though.
Yeah, that's real. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Okay, who are the hosts? I'm going to write after that. I have listened to it. And then I'll ask it, what are the hosts' favorite grog? Are the hosts' beverage of choice?
There we go.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay, nice. Since you've listened to Frogs and Grog, you probably know that the hosts Ben and Lucas like to have fun with their beverage choices. Their go-to drinks tend to vary, but they often lean into the grog side of things, meaning they enjoy a variety of alcoholic beverages, often cocktails or craft beers. Ben has been known to enjoy rum-based drinks, and Lucas sometimes mixes it up with beers or other spirits. They tend to keep it casual and fun, reflecting the lighthearted tone of the podcast. Do you have a favorite episode or drink you choose to sip along with them?
Okay, so I guess I like rum-based drinks, and you like beers and spirits.
Well, let's just say.
Okay, let me pull up.
Dude, this is just lying.
It really is. It's just pulling this out of its butt, dude.
Okay.
I gotta ask what its favorite episode is.
Yeah. What is your... no, what would we say? Because I don't think it can technically tell us a favorite.
Oh, okay.
What is the most listened episode?
There we go. Do you know which one that is off the top of your head?
I do know that one on the top of my head.
Okay.
What is the most listened episode of the podcast? That's not true. Okay, the most listened to episode of Frogs and Grog is Frogs and Grog, The Quest for the Perfect Cocktail. I'm taking a picture of this because we're actually doing that later.
There we go. We're stealing that.
In this episode, the hosts dive deep into mixology adventure, experimenting with different drinks while also adding their usual blend of humor and quirky banter. It really resonated with listeners because it combined their love for crafting the perfect drink with their fun personalities. Plus, who doesn't enjoy a little cocktail making adventure while listening to an entertaining podcast? Does that episode ring a bell, or are you planning to check it out now? Okay.
Yeah.
Should I just write that's not true?
Just be like, that's not an episode that exists.
I'll be like, or no, I'll be like, the actual answer. The actual answer is the Infinite Craft episode. What is the second most listened? Or wait, I'll ask it for a list. Can you give me a list of 10 of their... That's not how you spell their episode titles.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The Infinite Craft episode is indeed one of the most top listened episodes. My mistake there. Thanks for pointing that out. Here's a list of the top 10 episode titles from the Frogs and Grog that you might enjoy checking out. 1. The Infinite Craft. 2. Frogs and Grog, The Quest for the Perfect Cocktail. 3. The Frogs a Wild Ride Through Fantasy Literature. 4. Bruise and Beast, a creature feature special.
Oh gosh.
5. A Goblet Full of Goblins. Okay. 6. The Magic of Mixing Drinks and Dungeons.
Oh
7.
gosh.
Beer Bards and Battle Axes. 8.
Oh, no.
Frogwarts, a magical drinking adventure. The Mythical Munchies and Drinks of D&D, or Frogs and Grog, Legends of the Last Call.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this is it was a mistake putting anything alcohol related into our podcast name.
Okay, should we tell it that that Frogs and Grog actually doesn't have any alcohol-based episodes?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything with alcohol.
Actually, Frogs and Grog don't do anything with alcohol. How do you spell alcohol?
OHOL.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't do anything with alcohol. Are you sure those are the names?
Dude, that's insane.
You're absolutely right again. I apologize for the confusion. Frogs and Grog doesn't focus on alcohol at all. It's more about fun discussions with a range of topics, and the Grog part is just part of the playful title, not tied to the content. I mistakenly mixed it up with some other shows that are more drink focused. Sure, buddy. Okay.
Sure, buddy.
Here's a more accurate list of episode titles based on what I know. Okay, The Infinite Craft. That's just not true. That's not the title of the episode. I think it's like Infinite Craft Shenanigans or something.
Yeah.
2. Frogs, Geeks, and the Power of Nostalgia. That I would never write a title that long.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. Never mind. I'm lying.
Oh, good.
I would. but it would be different.
Yeah, the longest ones we have are like Monster Manual Waifu tier list.
I think it was the Dick Bite episode specifically was the longest one. I can't remember.
Wait, let me look. Keep
See.
going, yeah.
3 is Frogs vs. Grog, the ultimate showdown. 4, Mysterious Worlds, exploring fantasy and myth. Let's see. The Secret Life of Frogs, a deep dive. Epic adventures and where to find them. The Frogs and Grog Roundtable, discussing the unusual. And navigating new realms, the best in fantasy gaming. The Frog's Guide to Weird History. This reflects the kind of discussion they have around fantasy, culture, and sometimes storytelling, or just exploring interesting topics. Thanks for your patience with me. Are any of these ringing a bell or sounding interesting to you? Should we ask what guests we've had?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What?
We've only had 2 guests. We've only had 2 guests.
We've only had 2 guests. What are the names and expertise of guests that have been on the podcast? Hint, there has only been 2. Nope, it didn't want to go down. Thanks for the hint. You're absolutely right again. Frogs and Grog has only had 2 guests so far, and both of them brought some pretty unique expertise to the show. Here are the names and backgrounds of the 2 guests. Megan P. Megan Power. Expertise. Megan is a writer and editor who has a strong background in fantasy literature and world building. She's a huge fan of role-playing games, RPGs, and fantasy storytelling, which made for some fascinating discussion on the podcast, especially around world building and narrative structures in RPGs.
Oh my god.
The next one is Daniel Green. Expertise. Daniel is a professional game designer with a deep knowledge of tabletop games, RPGs mechanics, and strategy. He brought a lot of insight into the world of game design and the inner workings of creating immersive tabletop experiences. Daniel is also well-versed in the development of fantasy universes and the gaming community. Their contributions add depth to the episode, especially when it comes to game mechanics, storytelling in fantasy, and the creative process behind both literature and game design. Are you a fan of either of their work? These people just don't exist.
Dude, they really don't. Oh my gosh, bro, this is hilarious.
Okay, what are some other questions we can ask?
Ooh.
Well, let's ask it if it has a favorite episode.
Yeah, that's real.
You have a favorite episode. I think it'll just say it can't have favorites or something, but it might not. If I had to pick, okay, the Infinite Craft. Oh no way! What is your
least favorite?
Favorite?
Yeah.
Favorite episode. What video game did they talk about?
There we go.
Oh.
Stay along down.
See, I don't have a least favorite episode in a typical sense, but if I had to point to an episode that might not resonate as well with everyone, it would probably be the one where they discuss the Dark Souls experience. While it's an interesting for fans of the series, Dark Souls is a notoriously difficult and sometimes frustrating game, so the conversations around its difficulty and obscure mechanics might not appeal to everyone. The tone that episode can feel a bit heavy for listeners who aren't into hardcore gaming or who find Dark Souls difficulty frustrating. That said, for diehard fans of the series, it's probably okay. We didn't do an episode like that.
I was like, we do have one episode about Dark Souls. You played Dark Souls 2, right?
3. Dark Souls
3. Dark Souls 3.
And then we have the Elden Ring series going.
Yeah.
But
so it's like, kind of?
But the thing is, you're talking about a video game that's least favorite episode. A lot of people really struggle with the Dark Souls series. And so I think it's just drawing from that. It's not drawing from us, actually. Yeah. Because literally none of this information has come from anything. And that's a new episode. So I highly doubt that one would be in the mix.
Yeah. What you gotta do now is say, what would you think if I told you were on an episode of Frogs and Grog right now?
Oh, yeah. What would you say to the audience if you were on an episode of Frogs and Grog right now?
Oh gosh, let's see what it comes up with.
If I were on an episode of Frogs and Grog right now, I'd probably start by saying something like this. Hey everyone, it's been an absolute blast to be here on Frogs and Grog. I've got to say, I've been loving all the fun discussions you've had about geek culture, creativity, and just, well, everything that makes life a little more magical. Whether you're here for some deep dives into fantasy worlds, laughing at a ridiculous bit, or just vibing with the quirky charm of Frogs and Grog, whatever that means, I'm excited to join in. So let's kick back, dive into some fascinating topics, and who knows, maybe I'll end up learning a few things too. Let's get to it. Then I'd probably toss in a couple of jokes or random facts, just to keep it fun. How about you?
Oh my gosh!
I'll ask it to throw in some of the jokes.
Yeah.
Say some of the jokes and random facts you would say. Alright, if I were to kick off an episode with some joke and random facts, I'd throw in a mix of quirky humor and knowledge that fits the Frogs and Grog vibe. Here's what I might go with. Joke 1. Okay.
Oh no.
We could do every other one.
Yeah.
So, why don't frogs ever play poker in the wild? Because there are too many cheetahs.
I'm going to stab Jedgy. I'm just kidding. Random fact 1. Did you know that frogs can breathe through their skin? It's like their skin is a built-in mask. So if you're ever stuck in traffic, just imagine you can breathe like a frog. Might help with that road rage. What?
Okay. Sick. Joke 2. Why did the video game character bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. Okay.
It's so... Okay, random fact 2. Speaking of video games, here's a cool fact. The first video game to ever feature a frog as a main character was Frogger. Yeah, you knew that one. But here's the twist. Frogger was inspired by a classic arcade game called The Highway Crossing Frog. That's right, an actual frog crossing game existed way before the 80s.
Okay.
Wow!
Joke 3. Why did the goblin refuse to play cards with the adventurers? Because they always raided the deck. I don't even get that one.
I don't understand.
I bet raided has another definition, like an obscure one that I don't know.
I don't know either, but basically what we learned here is that ChatGPT sucks.
Okay, I throw in these lighthearted moments to keep things casual and fun while having some random facts and that tie into whatever the episode topic is about, whether it's frogs, gaming, or something fantasy themes. I'd also make sure to toss in a dad joke or two, because who doesn't love a cheesy punchline, right?
Oh, okay. I have a good one to ask now.
Okay.
What are some myths about Frogs and Grog that you've heard?
Oh,
since we're doing myth busting.
Are some myths about frogs and Grog that you've heard? Oh, here are a few myths and rumors floating around.
Oh no.
The first one is so funny. Myth 1. The podcast is about frogs and drinks. That's the only one telling that lie is you!
Here, we'll switch off again.
Yeah, while the title might suggest it's about frogs and booze, the show actually covers a huge range of topics: fantasy, pop culture, gaming, and more. Frogs and Grog are more symbolic of the quirky, fun tone than the main focus of the episode. It's a lot more varied than just those two things. True.
Myth 2. The hosts are actually frogs.
It has lore.
In reality, this was just an inside joke in the fandom. We have a fandom?
Wait,
No.
for real?
Ben and Lucas are definitely human. I mean, if they really were frogs, they'd be exceptionally good at podcasting, right?
Thank you,
They just happen
ChatGPT.
to have a love for all things frog related and use it as a fun way to theme their content.
Okay, I don't think we actually have like a frog themed episode.
I don't think we have a single
I
frog
mean,
themed
I mean, like
episode.
we do some things. Like I've made the Dark Souls character or Frigg, which is just a misspelling of
That's
frog.
right.
But like,
Oh yeah, and then our characters on Terraria are also Frogius and Gragius, right?
yeah, but they're not like frogs. I don't think.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Okay. Myth 3. You need to be a gamer to enjoy the podcast. That's not a myth. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think if you're listening to this and you don't play like tabletop RPGs, you don't play video games, you don't play all those types of games, I don't think you're gonna enjoy this podcast very much.
Right.
I mean, maybe, but it's iffy. Well, gaming is a frequent topic. Frogsy Grog really welcomes listeners from all walks of life. Whether you're fantasy novels, tabletop role-playing games, or just like listening to cool discussion, there's something for everyone. That's fair, I guess.
I guess we have pretty varied content. We have a wide variety. Which
Wide variety.
anyways. Myth number 4: the podcast only talks about Dark Souls. Reality.
That's
Even though there's
only
an
you.
episode, even though there's an episode diving into Dark Souls, it's just one of many. The podcast covers a wide range of topics, and while they might get into deep discussions about tough games or niche genres, the show is definitely not just about Dark Souls.
True. I'm pretty sure we have one episode of Dark Souls,
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
just playing it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Last one. The show is scripted. Reality. This one is definitely a myth. The beauty of Frogs and Grog is the spontaneity and the casual conversation. The hosts have natural chemistry and just roll with whatever topic they're feeling. It's pretty unscripted and authentic, which is part of the charm. That one's just true. But
that one's fair. We have like a little bit of scripting sometimes.
We have
just come up with like
yeah, we have 1 or 2 episodes that's a little scripted. We Skyrim Radio, that one was
definitely
extremely scripted, and I actually enjoyed that. I was surprised.
It was really fun.
Let's see. Yeah,
I mean, I wow, yeah,
that one. I don't think anybody's saying our show is scripted.
yeah. Man. So apparently we have a fandom. Everyone thinks the show's only about Dark Souls. Everyone thinks we're frogs.
And we're Ben and Lucas, obviously.
We're Ben and Lucas. You have to be a gamer to enjoy the podcast, which is kind of true. And then also, we do a lot of alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And we've had our guests that are... Oh, what was their names again?
Oh, it was Megan Power and Daniel Green.
Dude. Wait, let's ask what guest we should have on next.
Oh, yes.
Let's see. What guest should they have next? And what should the episode be about? Ooh, if I could pitch a guest and episode idea, I'd go with guest Critical Role's Matt Mercer.
Dude, if we could get Matt Mercer to talk to us, even for like 5 minutes, that'd be insane.
I think it's a little bit out there, but
Yeah. No, I mean, that's definitely not really within the realm of possibility. ChatGPT's really giving us more credit than we're due.
Yeah, probably. Episode idea: crafting worlds and characters. A deep dive into storytelling, where Matt gives Ben and Lucas the challenge of creating characters on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Eyebrow. Man. That would be a fun episode.
That would be, but at the same time, maybe later.
Yeah. Maybe if we actually are decent at this crap later,
Yeah. If you guys want to see this episode,
yeah,
like, comment, subscribe. Send this to Matt Mercer.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man, that's so funny. I'll have to read up on my Critical Role, or listen up, I guess I should say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do some research.
Do we have a question for today? Is there any myths about you guys that ChatGPT is telling?
Here we go. What's your favorite myth about Frogs and Grog? Give us some myths. Make up some crap.
Yes.
You're the fandom. Make up some stuff about us.
Make up some stuff. Make up the canon lore behind Ben and Lucas.
Yes. There actually are alternate personalities or some crap.
Yes.
They only come out when we're podcasting.
Ben and Lucas, dude. And Mr. Yellow back there. He's back there. He's just watching though. Don't worry.
Yeah. Mr. Yellow is Mr. Yellow is the one who points a gun in our head until we finish the episode.
Pretty much.
And then he pats us on the head and says, "Good boy." So we're like, I wonder if it's that.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Lame. Well,
oh man.
If you want to see us do anything on this, like legally change our names to Ben and Lucas, follow the podcast, like, subscribe.
Yep. Okay, so if my name was going to be Ben, it'd be Ben Grog, and you'd be Lucas Frog. Yeah?
Or it could be Lucas
Sweet.
Frog.
Frog could be your middle name. It's just fine. We've had to go to the last
Lucas. Oh, what? We should ask what their last names and middle names are.
Mm-hmm.
What are
their full
Ben
names?
and Lucas's? Nope. Lucas's full names. What even just happened there?
What?
It just swapped where I was typing.
That's weird.
Ben and Lucas, those are Ben Williams and Lucas Harper. Okay. Ben Grog Williams and Lucas Frog Harper and Mr. Yellow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We gotta ask, where does Mr. Yellow fit into all this?
Where does Mr. Yellow stay while they are recording? He's a bit of a mystery on Frogs and Grog, isn't he? According to the host, Mr. Yellow is an often mentioned but elusive character in the background while they're recording. Mr. Yellow supposedly stays in his own little corner of the recording space, often quietly observing the chaos from the shadows, but sometimes getting involved in the action with an unexpected appearance. Mr. Yellow isn't fully explained, and part of the fun is that he remains a bit of a background figure. His role seems to be more of a quirky mascot or an inside joke that adds to the charm of the podcast.
Dude, it was straight up listening to
The
us.
mystery of Mr. Yellow is one of those ongoing little details that keeps fans guessing and makes Frogs and Grog even more fun. No, the answer to this question, do you think we'll ever get a deep dive into exactly where Mr. Yellow really stays? The answer is no. He stays in the corner. He doesn't come out. Mr. Yellow's watching. He's got a gun. He's actually at, because we're recording over Discord right now, he's at both of our houses at the same time with a gun to our head, forcing us to record.
Yep.
Don't know how he's here, but he doesn't mind.
I don't know.
He doesn't mind.
Just Mr.
Uh,
Yellow. Casual Mr. Yellow.
Casual Mr.
Oh,
Yellow.
you know, but
Oh,
anyways,
I should
man.
ask it what's our exiting catchphrase, and then we'll end
Oh
the episode with
yes,
that.
there we
What
go.
is their exiting catchphrase? That's not how you spell phrase. Phrase. Keep it
Okay,
froggy, keep it groggy.
that's actually really close. Oh
Remember,
man,
everybody, keep it froggy, keep it
keep it
groggy,
groggy.
and stay groggy. And we'll see
Stay
you in the
groggy.
next episode.
See you in the next one.
Leaving so soon. Hope we see you next time.